Is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horse. Make sure the VHS tape is he getting audio on the VHS?
Hot dog!
Yeah.
Don't hesitate! It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow!
Yeah. We're here on Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, and our guest today is a fellow who Rolling Stone magazine referred to as a musician's musician.
That would be me.
You hardly hear that at all, don't you?
Not too often.
And he had an album called Letters from Joe Bay that was a #1 radio hit on the Gavin AA chart for 6 weeks, and second most played smooth jazz album of 1995.
Now, you know that when when they call it smooth jazz, it means your hipness factor goes way down. I got so trashed for that, it was unbelievable. I ran into a friend and I was gloating, this record's #1, and he said, what chart are you on? And I said, the smooth jazz chart. And he said, oh, isn't that the chart that Kenny G is on? And about 2 weeks later, one of the songs got picked up by the Weather Channel. And then they really everyone destroyed me. So I'm trying to crawl my way back to being in the hipness, getting my hipness factor up to at least 50.
You're hip to me, Artie Traum.
Thanks, Ralph.
To sing none of it. The bank still like the checks, though, right?
Well, it's a funny thing, Yeah, beat starving, I guess. I tried that a couple of times, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
People can criticize, but you can laugh all the way.
Well, I'm proud of those. I did 2 records that are loosely called smooth jazz, and I'm proud of both of them. I think they're both musically strong. So the fact that they got picked up by a format that's held in great disgrace, I tried not to let it influence my thinking.
I listen to smooth jazz sometimes.
I actually listen to it all the time, and you get players. I mean, actually, Kenny G happens to be a great player, and you also get players like Lee Ritenour and Earl Klug and Dave Sanborn, who are awesome and inventive and funky players. So a guy named Norman Brown is a new guitarist out, just wonderful, wonderful player. So, like any format, I mean, you can say it about blues or folk or regular jazz. There are great musicians and there are the rest of us.
So what was that first piece you did for us?
This first piece was a tune called 14 Turtles. The piece I wrote for a duet I did with John Sebastian of Love and Spoonful fame. And the tune has an interesting story because I actually saw 14 turtles being born on the side of a lake near where I live, upstate New York. And so I called the tune 14 Turtles because it makes me think of turtles coming out of the sand. It's quite miraculous. And it's funny, about 2 weeks after I wrote the tune, my wife went down to Marshall's to look for some socks. And she found these turtle socks. I don't know if the cameras can get them, but she found these turtle socks, and I wear them to every gig now. And believe it or not, there are 7 turtles on each sock. So hence 14 turtles that travel with me all the time. They're my turtle entourage.
I hope you wash them in between gigs.
No, I don't wash them. No, occasionally I'll wash them, when they get stiff or something. Yeah.
What else would you like to share with us?
Well, I'm in an instrumental mode, and I thought I'd try one other instrumental from the new album before doing a couple of vocal things for you. This next piece is an interesting piece because it sort of walks a line between American fingerstyle picking, which has your thumb going back and forth like this, and some African rhythms that I try to incorporate. So there are 2 sections to the tune, and this is called The Long Journey. It's the first track on my new CD, and something that I like a lot.
bobbing and weaving.
Well, it gets me warmed up, you know.
Gets me bobbing and weaving.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good warm-up kind of piece. Yeah.
And that's on your album we're going to show here, which is Meetings with Remarkable Friends. And it's on the Narada label, by whose invitation you're here, and by whose courtesy you're here, I guess.
Narada is a very courteous and lovely label, actually. In truth, I've been on about 7 or 8 labels, and they're the first label I've been on where I have a great rapport with all the people at the label.
Cool. That's good.
That's a good feeling. Yeah, it really is.
And if folks want to get information about the recording or about your tour schedule, they can call if our graphic guy can put up the information, because I don't know the number by heart. There we are. The Narada label can be reached at 414-961-8350 for information about Artie Traum's Narada recordings and his tour schedule and so forth.
They can also find me on the Taylor Guitars website, taylorguitars.com. Taylor Guitars has been sending me out to do guitar instructional clinics and workshops, and they're generally free to the public, and if anyone wants to come to one of them, they're really a lot of fun, and Taylor Guitars has the schedule on their website.
Great.
So it's a cool thing, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of spectacular guest artists on this CD.
There are a few,
The band with Levon Helm, Rick Danko, and I don't know who else from that group.
Garth Hudson, the amazing keyboard player from the band, yeah.
Sam Bush plays on the album.
Uh-huh.
Bella Fleck,
Uh-huh.
Jay Unger and Molly Mason,
Uh-huh.
David Grissman,
Uh-huh.
and there are many more here.
Don't forget my brother Happy.
Oh, Happy.
Yes.
We should talk about it. You guys were a famous folk act in the 60s, I guess, in the 70s.
We were famous for about 12 days, I think. We had a nice run. Yeah. Yeah, we toured forever as Happy and Artie Traum throughout the 60s, 70s, and some of the 80s. And in fact, we still perform together at various gigs and concerts from time to time, whenever the lawyers let us speak to one another. That was a joke. It wasn't a very good joke, but it was. No, we get along very well, considering we're siblings and always have been. We actually get along amazingly well. Yeah.
That reminds me of a song from that period, that Rabbit Run song, which I wrote.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sure, I'd love to do that. Let me change guitars. You want to hold my guitar?
Sure.
Okay. Now, you mentioned this to me right before the show, and in fact, I've sung this song about twice in the last 10 years,
Really?
so I'm hoping I can get through it. But this is the very first song I ever wrote. And it's kind of interesting to me that I think it still holds up, because it's really an early song for me. I wrote it when I was like 18 or something, and that was about so at least 5 or 6 years ago. Dry sun, early morning, gotta be the hottest time I can recall. I heard a snake, it rattled a warning. It's gotta be the roughest time of all. Down the hill, there's a rabbit running in a circle I have known. Down below, the crazy rabbit runs. Dry land has no water. The earth will bake and dry before my eyes. A poison snake is in the coolest corner, and it's rolled into a dusty disguise. Down the hill, there's a rabbit running to a trap that I have known. Down below, the crazy rabbit runs. look so thirsty, the earth cracks open like a broken shell. A hungry snake is gonna show no mercy when it moves in for the kill. Down the hill, there's a rabbit running to a trap that I have known. Down below, the crazy rabbit runs. Down below, the crazy rabbit runs. Father of roots, come see me now. Father of roots, come see me now. Father of dreams, come see me now. Father of dreams, come see me now. Come see me now and hear me now. Come see me now. Thanks.
Great song.
Thank you.
Particularly appropriate given the drought that's just been
It is
coming
appropriate.
through the area.
Yeah. It's been an amazingly dry time. You know, driving down through New Jersey, I realized a lot of trees had died. It's kind of sad, and I'm sure the wildlife is hurting too. Yeah. We have a little snake that lives in our garden, upstate in Woodstock where I live. And he comes out and likes to sun himself on the rocks. But I haven't seen him in the last month or so, so I'm hoping he's okay. He's probably in the well. Thanks for reminding me about that song, because it is a good song. I should go back to it, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Did it get radio play? And
Well, that song didn't get so much radio play. It got a lot of great press. I mean, the Rolling Stone... They sort of championed Happy and I when we first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And they wrote some very nice things. They actually did this sort of odd, what's the word? They sort of did an analysis of the songs and tried to interpret them. You know, it's like, that was one of the greatest things. It's like when a reviewer in Rolling Stones tries to interpret what you've written, because, it's just, they came up with all kinds of weird stuff. But it was an honor, it was a real honor. Absolutely, yeah.
Cool.
That's why I do instrumental music now. You can't interpret it, you just make up whatever you want,
What else would you like to do for us?
Well, I do some songwriting, and I wrote a song. I went to visit Niagara Falls about a year and a half ago, and when I came back, I sat down with a friend of mine, Jim Weeder, who took Robbie Robertson's place in the band as the lead guitar player. Plays very much like Robbie, a very high, terrific electric guitar player. And a great songwriter named Joe Flood. And the three of us hammered out this song about Niagara, which is kind of this, has a kind of a Taj Mahal kind of a groove to it. So it's called Niagara. At the bar, all the border guards are having a ball. Newlyweds next door, they're knocking down the walls. These border town, water towns, they always make me think of you. Well, if you would come and see me in this tourist town, I'd love you like the waterfall crashing down. Pull yourself together, girl, and help me get a message through. I said, whoa, Niagara, well, please don't make me go. My feet start flying when you start crying and the water starts to flow. Said I lose my mind every time I see that waterfall. Oh, Niagara, won't you hear me call? I got a honeymoon suite in a cheap hotel. I got a big double bed all to myself. You know, I'm talking to the TV and I'm staring at the telephone. When your waterworks are working, girl, I can't stay. I need help, but I can't help but run away. I can't quit, I'm thinking about you all alone. I said, whoa, Niagara, well, please don't make me go. My feet start flying when you start crying and the water starts to flow. Said I lose my mind every time I see that waterfall. Oh, Niagara, won't you hear me call? Call for me now. Ah, that's it. Now it's hard to forget that I'm the reason you cried. Those power lines are buzzing like my foolish pride. There's a wall of white water, but it only makes this body blue. Well, I'm hanging on tight with all the strength I can find. Forgive me half a minute, I got half a mind. I'm gonna jump into a barrel and go over these falls with you. I said, whoa, Niagara, well, please don't make me go. My feet start flying when you start crying, that water starts to flow. Said I lose my mind every time I see that waterfall. Oh, Niagara, won't you hear me call? I said, oh, Niagara, won't you hear me call? I said, whoa, Niagara, won't you hear me? Said, whoa, Niagara, won't you hear me? Said, whoa, Niagara, won't you hear me call? I keep thinking this is the kind of song that's really hard to end, you know? I don't know, you've ever heard my James Taylor ending to this? It's like, oh, Niagara, won't you hear me call? 'Cause I'm showering the people I love at Niagara Falls. Showering the people at Niagara Falls. Shower the people you know. Niagara.
Cool, great song.
Thanks,
Great song.
thanks. That's a fun one to do. Can't sit still while you do that song. You got to move. You really got to move.
Yeah. Well, we're quickly closing in on the end of our short time here together.
Wow, it just seems like we just got here.
Yeah, time flies.
Time does fly.
Having
Yeah.
fun. So I hope you'll be able to come back and visit us again.
I'd be
before too
delighted to
long.
do it. You know, it's just a hop from home. You know, it took me 4 or 5 days to get here. I headed north by mistake. I don't know what happened. I just wound up in Montreal. No, it is quick. Yeah, so I'd be delighted to come back. You know, my wrist has been hurting a bit, so as you know, this is the secret of the evening, is wrist problems.
Okay.
But-
Well, I couldn't tell from your playing.
You know, I couldn't tell either, and it didn't hurt at all tonight. So,
All right.
you know, I'm just complaining, you
Good
know.
vibrations.
It's just part of my complaining thing. That's the kind of guy I am.
Now I have the honor of joining you on a harmonica here.
The honor is mine. This is an older song that I did record with Happy a couple of times called Riptide. And I think we're in the key of E, so let me grab my capo. And good, still in tune. Well, I have been washed inside the rainstorm. Yeah, I have been battered by the wind. Well, I have been lost inside the fog bank. Well, I think I'll never be the same. It's a riptide. That high tide is coming in. It's a riptide. That high tide is coming in. Well, just as the moon pulls on the water, well, I feel the water like a riptide. That hot tide is coming. Well, it's beating like a riptide. That hot tide is coming in. I'll get it out. If I should go down into the water, well, I hope you come along with me. You gotta wrap your sweet arms around my body, so I don't wash away the sea.